Welcome back here to Adelante Chicago. Well, he became the first Hispanic Commodore of the Chicago Yacht Club in its 145-year history, if you can believe that. But that's only part of his story. He's got a lot that he wants to share with the world. Lou Sandoval has turned his life story into a book. And guess what? He is joining us now to tell us all about it. So nice to have you here.
It's nice to be here, Lourdes. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about this because the last time I saw you, you said, what I did is through the years, I always kept notes on some of the challenges in life, some of the bright spots in life. Right. And now I decided, listen, this is stuff that could actually help somebody else, and you decided to turn it into a book.
Exactly, and that's really, I've journaled since I was 18, and for some people do yoga. Yeah. I journal, to kind of find clarity of mind.
Okay, and as you look through those notes, what were some of the things that struck you that you thought, this would make a really great story? What were the moments in life that you thought you've got to share it with people?
So I look at it kind of like a road. When you go on a trip, as you're going, let's say a road trip, you go exit to exit, you really don't get the magnitude of it until you put it all together. And that's kind of looking at my life back in chapters, we'll call it. That's where you start to see really the different turns that you've gone through, and I think that's what really inspired me to even go further in it, and then the ability to share that with people and make an impact on their lives. Some of the feedback I've gotten on that has been remarkable.
Yeah, so. And your purpose now is to try to inspire other people to do similar things. So let's take folks back and explain to them what you've been able to do in your life, because you've been involved in so many different sectors, biology or technology, biotech, and then also sailing. In the sailing world, you've made your mark there. So talk to us a little bit about yourself.
So I've kind of lived my life in thirds. The first third was in biotech and pharma, and did that for 17 years, right out of school pretty much. I thought I wanted to be a doctor and pivoted on that to a career on the business side of medicine. And then due to some turns of, we'll call it some beneficial turns, the company that I was working for got acquired and gave me we'll call it the financial ability to then pursue a business in something that I loved, that I was passionate about. So I decided to buy a boat dealership, and did that for another 15 years, and basically took that from the bottom third of the country to the top third. And then on exiting that boat dealership, I was presented the opportunity to get into the tech side of the business, in boating as well, still the marine industry. But that opened my eyes, and I've always been kind of a techie, a technophile. So that allowed me to then pursue the geek in me, and kind of go on to the technology side of things, which has been just amazing.
Those moments of transition are very scary for people. So how were you able to overcome those moments of fear to maybe take on something new and succeed at that?
Right. For me, I think a lot of it is my network. As you read through the book, you'll see I've opened myself up. And when I talk to different people, youth and mentees that I work with, I tell them, listen, I said, you've got to be open to mentors and sponsors that may not look like you, because those people can often be your allies and be your voice for when you're not in the room. And for me, those are the people that I leaned on in the inflection points. Yeah. And it's created opportunity.
Yeah, and you're one of those people that anytime I see you at an event, you talk to everybody.
I do. Yeah, I'm one of those people that my wife has a tough time getting me out of there, because I am talking to everybody. Yes.
Yeah, and building those connections and those networks. Okay, I also want to talk about sailing, because I think this is one of the cool, I told you I'm interested in boating now, and this is one of the coolest things I've heard. You are the first Latino Commodore to hold that position at the Chicago Yacht Club, which is huge in its 145-year history. They've never had a Latino take on that role. How did that come about?
It came about, again, being of service. So I think the advice I got when I started as a member at the club over 22 years ago, now going on my 23rd, was get involved, volunteer at the club. And in that, I started to make a lot of friends and get involved with different parts of the club. That led to me at one point going on to the Race to Mackinac committee, and then chairing that committee right after we had a very unfortunate accident. Well, I was we had the first 2 deaths in the history of the race. Yeah. So it was then my responsibility to lead the team to get the event back on track. And then that opened it up to me then being involved on the executive board of the club. And I started out as rear, then vice, and then commodore. So over a 6-year period, ascended into the role. And as luck might have it, I pulled a great card, and then in 2020 we had the pandemic, which was
Yeah.
amazing because we started, and that's probably where my small business background came into play.
Yeah, make things work, right?
Oh, exactly, and having navigated, the great, the 9/11, the post 9/11 period, the dot-com bust, and then the Great Recession, you kind of know what levers to pull in keeping a business and an operation going, and that's really where it helped me.
And you said that that's one of the reasons why, partly why the book is so helpful right now, is people push out of this pandemic and we start to get life back to normal.
Yeah.
Describe a moment in time in the book where people can relate to what's been happening right now with the pandemic and how they either start a new business, get back in business, kind of push through some of the difficulties that we're seeing right now.
Well, it's interesting because the book takes an atypical arc. It starts out with splat, right? Stuff's going wrong in my life, and then, we stop and then go back to where it all started. So that period of where things are kind of going haywire, and I had just had a big loss. My father had passed away. So, think about it. Life throws you different curveballs. You lose a job, you lose a loved one, you lose, your relationship falls apart. And those things can derail you very easily. And at this point, for me in the book, that's where at the various inflection points, I kind of buckle down, and that's where the tenacity comes into play.
Yeah.
And you kind of persevere.
Yeah. Okay. What are you doing next, though? What's coming up next for you?
Well, I'm kind of writing that chapter as we speak. I'm doing a little bit of business advisory right now with different startups and the like, so I'm kind of helping them. I like building, fixing things, and helping organizations grow, flourish through inflection points. So for me, that is kind of what I'm doing with startups. But I'm getting a lot of different requests from different areas. So
Sure.
Will you do this?
And as someone who grew up in Chicago, you faced a lot of the challenges that many of us who grew up here face, especially coming from a Latino family or an immigrant family.
Right.
Are you noticing a shift in people sort of having more opportunities and seizing some of the opportunities that they have, and maybe more resources for them out there to succeed?
I am, especially like on the small business side of it. Venture capital is now starting to turn, and you're starting to see a lot more diverse VC firms investing in diverse founded businesses, so that's great. The tech ecosystem in Chicago has changed immensely. It's growing leaps and bounds. But really, I think it's those of us that now can reach back and say, all right, so how do you pull more through? That's always been the responsibility, I feel. It's being the first is one thing, but being the first of many and opening that door and helping others through that, I think is the biggest testament to anyone's leadership.
And you're seeing a lot more people out there that are willing to extend their hand and
Right.
help somebody else in. So
Exactly.
that's great. All right, Lou Sandoval, we appreciate your time. And remember, the book is called Tenacity for Life. They can find it on Amazon. We'll post a link on our website as well. And there's also this QR code that we developed where people can go on there. So take a picture of it, and we'll link you to the site for the book on where you can get it. Okay?
Thank you, Lourdes.
All right.